What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today we are talking about the collaboration between China Glaze and Dippin Dots for summer 2022. We've got 6 new nail polishes, a really interesting variety of finishes here, but if you haven't heard of China Glaze before, they are a mainstream salon brand that is 7-free, meaning they are free of 7 of the potentially harmful ingredients that are often found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal-derived ingredients, and they are cruelty-free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So like I said, interesting variety of finishes here. We have 3 neon shimmers, we have 1 cream finish, we've got 1 CRELLY finish that has little glitters in it, and then we have 1 glitter topper. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous when I first saw those shimmers because they're actually the type of shimmer that has the little glass flecks in it, and I feel like lately those have been giving me a lot of trouble. Most recently, the OPI Power of Hue collection definitely gave me a little bit of a struggle. They were very patchy, and I realized that I just maybe don't like this type of finish, so I was really nervous to try these. But let me just go ahead and show you the swatches, then we'll talk a little bit more about pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I am using the Cuccio base coat. So we'll start off with these shimmers. This first shade is called Strawberry Chillin', and it is a neon pink shimmer that has these really beautiful iridescent glass flecks in it. And like I said, this glass fleck kind of formula usually is not for me. It doesn't seem to work too well, but I was pleasantly surprised with this one. It's a very thick formula, but it was pretty self-leveling and it ended up giving me nice coverage in 2 coats. You can see it covered up my visible nail line fully, and it's just really bright and vibrant even with just those 2 coats. So definitely enjoyed this color. Moving on, we have the shade Lemon Ice, and this one is a neon highlighter yellow, again with those glass flecks in there. And this one I was really nervous about. So I always mention this, but yellow nail polish is usually the least opaque color on me, so I almost always need 3 coats. And since we have this somewhat chunky formula, I was worried that I was going to need even more than 3, but I was really surprised. It ended up being full coverage in those 3 coats. Now, like I said, this is a thick formula, so it wasn't the easiest to work with, but it did give me that nice coverage. Once I got it to that full opacity, I thought it looked really beautiful on, and it's just so vibrant. It almost has that whitish undertone to it, so it looks like you're wearing a white base coat, but you don't actually need it. But keep in mind, I do have short nails, so even though it's 3 coats on me, it might be more coats on longer nails. By this point, I was feeling pretty confident with this formula that I was able to get it full coverage, so I moved on to this next shade, Frosty Lime, and this one is a lime green neon, again with those little flecks in there. And this one ended up being a lot more sheer than the other shades, so I kept on applying coats, and the first few coats really just didn't give me the coverage or that neon vibrance that I was looking for, so I ended up actually having to do 4 coats, which I feel like under most circumstances I would not be okay with. In 3 coats it was almost there, but when I moved my hand around and I could see the light hitting certain parts of it, I just felt like it was a little too patchy and I could still see my visible nail line through, so wasn't too pleased about that. I love a good green nail polish. I love a good lime green nail polish, and especially when it's so neon and bright, and I think that the final result looks gorgeous, but since it's just such a thick formula, I just feel like it's wearing too much on my nails to have 4 coats on there. So I'll probably hold on to this one to use for nail art because it's so beautiful, but it just feels like too much to wear as a full manicure. Moving on, we have Blue Raspberry Ice, and this one is actually a medium blue cream finish. So I was a little surprised because I saw online some websites said that this was also a shimmer, but it is definitely not. But the coverage on this one was great. It was almost there in the first coat, but I did need a second to get that full coverage, but it had that nice classic super opaque formula, and it was pretty self-leveling, so very easy to work with, very beautiful color, and really gave me no issues at all. Next up, we have the shade Arctic Confetti, and oh my gosh, I was so excited about this color. It's actually this milky white base, and then within that base, we have a bunch of neon glitters in there in a couple of different sizes. So we've basically got the whole rainbow. We've got the pink, the orange, the green, the blue, the purple, and when you layer the different layers of of this polish onto each other, it creates such a fun dimension and depth to it. So I feel like I could get away with doing 2 coats, but I really wanted to maximize the amount of glitter and color that I had on my nails. So I ended up doing a 3rd coat, and I feel like that was where I really found the sweet spot with this polish, because you just get so many levels of glitter, you get a nice coverage of that milky white base, and it just looks like a fun party on the nails. It's really like those funfetti cakes. So I absolutely loved this one. And finally, we have the shade Rainbow Ice, and this one is a matte glitter topper. So we have a whole rainbow of small hex glitters, and then we also have some larger hex glitters as well as some circle glitters. And as you can see, this one was very, very base heavy. There was not enough glitter to base ratio, so I tried applying it on its own and then over a base color just to see how much I was able to get on the nails, and I really wasn't able to get anything. So here's a quick peek of one way you can get around that. If you're working with a glitter that just isn't applying properly, you can always use a toothpick or an orange wood stick like I'm using here, and you can do some glitter placement. I just poured some out onto a piece of scrap paper, and then I just manually placed all of the glitters onto my nail. So that's always an option, but it's definitely something tedious that takes a lot of time. So this is probably not for you if you are not the type of person who has this much time to dedicate to putting a topper onto your nails. There are plenty of brands and even toppers within the China Glaze brand that have good coverage if you just apply them normally. So I don't know that I would recommend this one. I think it's fun, but even the colors to me aren't that unique, and I just felt like it wasn't worth the amount of effort that I had to go through to get this finished product. So here are all of the polishes together, and I have to say those full coverage shades look so beautiful together. They really just scream summer, and it feels so perfect for this time of year. And I do think that China Glaze has really been stepping up their neons. Years ago, their neon polishes were so sheer and difficult to work with, but last year they came out with some really incredible neons. This year, I'm finding myself really drawn to that pink and yellow, and even the green I think looks really gorgeous on, but like I said, it's just a little thick, so that one might have to not wear, but we'll see. So let's talk a little bit more about those. So yeah, those are the polishes, and overall I'm actually a lot more impressed than I thought I would be. I will say those shimmers are incredibly thick, and they're definitely not beginner friendly. I would say stay away if you have trouble with thicker formulas. Really loved that CRELLY finish. It gave me a lot of nostalgia for when I first got into nail polish, because it just feels like a very old school indie style polish. And I really love seeing mainstream brands do this, because I feel like not everybody has access to indies. So it's nice to have a more readily available brand doing this type of finish. It's just a little bit more unique. But the confetti topper was just not it for me. I think it was way too base heavy, and I was barely able to get any onto the nail. Of course, you can do glitter placement like I showed you, but not everybody can just spend potentially like an hour doing glitter placement when they want that type of finish on their nails. So yeah, I mean, some good, some bad. Overall though, not as bad as I thought it would be. I did not have very high hopes. So these polishes come in 14 milliliter bottles. They have what I like to call a medium wide flat brush. It's not too wide, and it's also not too skinny. It's kind of somewhere in between, and it does have a blunt end. And they retail for $6.95 USD on HB Beauty Bar, which is a nail polish retailer that I use. And you can also use the discount code KELLY to get 22% off your order there. And I have to say, I am really happy to see that HB Beauty Bar carries China Glaze now. They are a really great retailer. I use them for a ton of other brands, so it's just nice to have like a one-stop shop. I do want to note they use ground shipping, so it takes a little bit longer to get the product, but I've never had a break from them. I've never had a broken bottle in a shipment, so I think it's worth it. I don't mind waiting a little bit longer to make sure that the polishes arrive safely. I will link that down below, but they're also available wherever else China Glaze is sold. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think. I know these polishes came out a little while ago and I only just got them. I would love to hear your opinions if you have tried them. What do you think of them? What do you think of this glass fleck shimmer formula? What do you think of that CRELLY finish? What do you think of that glitter topper? Tell me all of your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please give this one a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. I also have a vlog channel which just hit 10,000 subscribers. I'm very honored about that. Basically just sharing my life behind the scenes. I am currently in the process of a move, so I am doing weekly vlogs over there where I show you the whole process of it. So if you're interested in that, go subscribe there. And I also have a fun podcast, so check that out. I will link everything in the description. And of course, a huge shout out to my Cosmic Admirals on Patreon, Amanda M, Rocket Man's daughter, and Paula. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Pookie Bear, and Pookie Bear wants to know, I want to ask you, what's your favorite summer activity? Like, do you like swimming, going to parks, nature walks, etc.? Ooh, this is actually a tough one. I have to be honest, I'm very much an indoor person, but I think a lot of that is because I don't really have the easiest access to getting outside. If I had a pool, I feel like I would probably be in it a lot, but I've never had a pool in my life. Actually, that's not true. I lived in one apartment that had a pool, and I used it all the time. I think I would be a little bit more of like a hiking person if there were a lot more short hikes available, because I feel like I can only handle so much at a time. So I try to find relatively short hikes, like 2 miles or less, which I guess I don't even know if people would consider that to be a real hike, but I do enjoy doing that. I think just the biggest thing is just sitting somewhere or walking somewhere and people watching, because I think people are very fascinating and I always like to see what they're up to, which sounds a little weird, but you know what? It's a fun time. If you have any summer activities you want to share, leave them down in the comments. We can chat about it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!